I went from not being able to run for 30 seconds to running a marathon in 8 months, so I wanted to create this video for anyone who has 1, signed up for a marathon as a beginner, or 2, has dreams of running a marathon but doesn't believe they could do it. Well, I'm here to tell you, if I can do it, you can do it. So hi, I'm Ella, a self-proclaimed slower runner who makes videos all about embracing the slower pace and reminding you that you are still a runner no matter the speed, time, or distance. I should probably give you a little bit of background on how I ended up running my first ever marathon. Rewind to April 2023, I was so inspired by watching the people run the London Marathon on the telly. As soon as the entries for 2024 opened up, I put my name down. Quick little fact for you, there is a 3% chance of getting into the London Marathon through the ballot, even less for a first timer. Well, guess who got in first time? Fast forward to July when that life-changing email dropped in my inbox, it was time to start training. Because this girl had not ran since high school PE, and even then she was awful. Now if you follow me on Instagram, you will hear me time and time again go on about Couch to 5k. This program gets you from running for 30 seconds straight to 30 minutes straight in just 8 weeks, and genuinely is the #1 tool I recommend to anyone, marathon or not, if you want to get into running. I finished Couch to 5k in September, and now it was time to start increasing the distance. Just a little bit. I booked a 10k event in December. Now I highly recommend booking some running events before the marathon, as this just helps you understand how running events work and also gets you used to running with large groups of people. So from September to December, I was running about 3 times a week, not really following a plan, just going out and doing 5 to 8Ks. And then I did actually run my first 10k in November, which gave me a lot more confidence going into the 10k event in December. Roll on December, I did my 10k event, and I won't lie, it was tougher than I was expecting, and it did knock my confidence a little bit, knowing that I had 32k to do on top of that on the marathon day. Once that was done, I booked a half marathon for February. I was regularly running with my dad, going for 8 to 10Ks. I fell over on a run and basically fractured my wrist. Then I did my half marathon, and oh my god, is this when it went downhill. On the last 5k of my half marathon, my hip and groin area was in excruciating pain that I hobbled over the finish line. But I still did it, and I was proud. I had a half marathon under my belt. After that, I didn't really run for 2 weeks, which also included 2 physio sessions that did absolutely nothing, and the pain just went. And fingers crossed, hasn't actually come back to this day. So training resumed. We were about 2 months away from the big day. And since January, I had been following a marathon plan with Runner. No hate towards Runner, and it does work really well for a lot of people, but it personally made me feel very under pressure and a little bit stressed. So I loosely followed the plan, sticking to the shorter runs in the week and then 1 long run at the weekend. I did do another half marathon in March, and to this day, I will never know if this was a mistake or not, but the furthest distance I ever ran in my marathon training was a half marathon. I saw loads of people going out doing the 32-kilometer runs, which the plan says, and amazing, great for them. But one, I didn't want my injury to flare up again when we were literally 1 month out from the marathon. I decided I'd rather train less and get to the start line than train too much, injure myself, and have to drop out. Looking back, if I were to train for another marathon, I think I would probably put a 30k run in there somewhere, but we live and we learn. Speaking of a few things I would have done differently in my training. 1, trained more. I skipped a lot of runs, I won't lie. Marathon training is mentally and physically tough. And towards the end, you just want it to be marathon day. You don't want to go out for runs anymore, and that's fine to admit. 2, strength trained weekly. I wasn't a gym girl back in the marathon days, but you can't run well if you've got weak legs. Sorry. And 3, stop putting so much pressure on a certain time and a certain pace. I got so caught up in a decent time and sticking to a pace, when in reality it doesn't matter, and it all goes out the window on the day. Trust me. I got a lot of questions about the actual marathon weekend, and a video like this would have actually been really helpful to me leading up to the marathon, because I'm a bit of a panicker and I like to know every single detail of every single thing to ever possibly happen on the day. So let's break it down, and this will be more specific to the London Marathon because obviously that is the one I did. However, I think a lot of them are the same. I think it was about 2 weeks or maybe a week before you get an email that has a PDF attached to it that has literally every single detail you could possibly imagine on it, including the route, how to get to the start line, toilets, water stations, first aid, all that. It's a very good PDF. Highly recommend you read it. But this is also when you will get your wave and your start time, which is a big moment. Luckily, me and my friend Louise got the same start time and wave group, which is absolutely insane, and I'm grateful for that to this day. I went up on Friday to get my bib number bag drop-off thing and to register, which I would recommend going in the week. You do have from Wednesday to Saturday, but the Saturday is quite busy because obviously everyone that works in the week will go at the weekend. And yes, you have to go up to London to get it. No, they will not send it to you. You can have someone else go pick it up for you. However, I do not trust someone that much, and I would just go. Just go. This is also all at their expo place where they have all the freebies. You can talk to brands, there's massages. So it's just all part of the marathon experience, and it's quite fun. I then went home and we drove back up on the Saturday afternoon. We parked in London using one of those park and go things, and then we stayed at a hotel in Canary Wharf. Now, we probably left the hotel booking a little bit late because everyone books them as soon as they know they've got into the marathon, and the ones around the start line go. So keep that in mind. Also, the start line is quite far out, so leave plenty of time to get there. My start time was 10 to 11 and I was at the start line area at 8:30. I'd rather be there too early and wait than too late and stressed. If you have a bag, there are bag drop-off lorries which will then put your stuff at the finish line, which you can pick up after. All very easy. You have a number. I personally didn't use my bag because my family carried all my stuff. So if you have the privilege of that, then do that instead. Then you basically wait around, wait in the longest toilet queue of your life, and then by the time that's done, it's time to start and you're about to run a marathon. Firstly, I will say this. If you are thinking of running a marathon, I highly suggest you try to get into London. The atmosphere and crowd is genuinely next level. I don't think I could have mentally crossed that finish line without them. Now, the actual marathon is an experience. Obviously, it's a long way. It's 26 miles. And I would say highlights for me, Cutty Sark, which is 10k, amazing. Incredible, and I feel like you've warmed up by then. Then the next obvious highlight is Tower Bridge, which is half marathon. Tower Bridge is absolutely insane. It is incredible. I think I nearly cried going over it. After Tower Bridge, you start heading into Canary Wharf. Now, I think Canary Wharf is well known as the trenches. It's rough in there. You are in Canary Wharf, I think, for about 5 miles, I want to say. Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. The crowds thin out quite a lot. You feel like you're in it for a long time. I will say though, when you're out of it, wow, basically on the home stretch. It's a long home stretch, but you're on the home stretch. Obviously after half marathon distance, I was in unknown territory because I'd never actually ran that distance before after that. And it was hard. It was hard. It's a marathon. You get to mile 20 and you think, right, 10k should be easy. But no, I did really enjoy myself. I didn't stop to go to the toilet once because if you think I'm waiting in a queue, it's not gonna happen. I also didn't need a wee. I think, TMI, I think you sweat so much that your wee disappears. So I didn't stop for the toilet. However, there is toilets every mile, including water stations at every mile. There are also Lucozade stations at, I wanna say like every 5-6 miles, and they are a godsend. I never knew I needed Lucozade so much in my life. It was amazing. I also got asked a lot where the best places for your family and friends to cheer you on. One, just after Cutty Sark. It's about mile 7 and it's over the train gates. Cutty Sark is round and you can't really stop. So just after is 10 out of 10, and that is where I first saw my family. Second, just after Tower Bridge on Rainbow Row. I wouldn't suggest they stop and wait on Tower Bridge. Tower Bridge is a moment for yourself. A moment of proudness that you are here, you've done it. So just after Tower Bridge is amazing. Then Birdcage Walk. My family were just before the final bend for the finish line, and oh my god, I sobbed my eyes out. That is the best place for them. It's a very wide road. You will want them in Canary Wharf. However, The underground is like sardines, and the chances of them getting to Canary Wharf and also getting back to see you at the finish line is not going to happen. So pick one. And finally, I'm just going to answer a few questions that I got, and then also a few of my little tips and tricks on the side. First question is, what fuel did I use? And I'm going to be completely honest with you, my fueling went out the window. I had a Squares bar at the start line. Actually, rewind, breakfast. I had a bagel with peanut butter and jam. Now, we all know what it's like when you have adrenaline, nervous stomach. This bagel was quite hard to get down, but I got it down me. Eat your breakfast. Please don't skip it. I know you feel a bit sick. And then I had a Squares bar at the start line. I had a Cocoa Pops bar with me that I think I had at about, I want to say like mile 8 probably. And then I had gels. I didn't take as many gels as I thought I would. I think I ended up probably having about 3. I would definitely fuel better next time. I had a question about Apple Watches, etc. Mine lasted with me. I turned off all notifications apart from messages, and I just left it. And it lasted. I did also though have my phone recording on Strava, just in case the Apple Watch died. Now lastly, for my own little personal tips and tricks. 1. Best thing I ever did was print my name on my top. I actually wasn't going to do this. Do it. Everyone in the crowd cheers your name and you feel like the main character. It's incredible. Put your name on your top. 2nd, maybe a bit TMI. I was on my day 1 period on the marathon day. It was due the day after. Sweetie decided to turn up the morning of. And I wish I had discovered period knickers back then, because wearing a pad for 26 miles causes chafing where you don't want chafing. That's all I'm going to say on that. So if you want to invest in some period knickers, I highly suggest you do. And then lastly, enjoy it. You only run your first marathon once. And although at the time it feels like it is taking forever, it is over very fast and you will miss it. I kind of miss it. Should I do another one? I hope this answers any questions. If you have any more questions, leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer anything, or you can message me on my Instagram. And if you are running a marathon this year, I just want to say good luck. You will be amazing and you get one of these.